So, good evening, everyone, or good evening. Welcome if you're watching the replay. My name is Dr. Staci Holweger, and I'm so excited that you decided to join us tonight to hear a little bit more about Lifewave's technology, how this technology works, how it can help you or the people that you care about. If you are a guest this evening, please understand that I am not a medical doctor. And even though I'm going to be sharing information about Dr. Sara, she is not a medical doctor either. And neither of us are your doctors. So if you have questions in regards to your health in your situations that you may be in, or if you're on medicines or pregnant or nursing, please check with your healthcare practitioner, the person that's in charge of your health. The information that Dr. Sara and I are going to be sharing this evening is for informational purposes only. We're going to be discussing Lifewave's technology with you, why we're so passionate about it, how it's helping us in our lives, and many other people that we're sharing this with. And so, with that, I'm going to go ahead and share Dr. Sara's bio with you so you know a little bit more about her. I have personally known Dr. Sara for, about what, 14, 15 years now. So
Yep.
we've known each other quite some time. She's in Indiana. I'm originally from Indiana, so we used to work together in the past. And Dr. Sara, being raised in Southwest Indiana on a small family farm where she still lives with her husband and her three girls and is also a foster parent. She has her associate's degree in massage therapy from Vincennes University, bachelor's degree in holistic medicine from Everglades University, doctorate in chiropractic from Logan University, a dual degree in animal chiropractic from Options from Animals Chiropractic. She's certified in equine, livestock, and pets, certified in pregnancy and pediatrics, certified in color puncture, which she did training in Chicago and Colorado. She's had an interest in quantum physics since she was young, the age of 15, and she's followed Dr. Amen's work on the mind for the past 20 years. Currently, she has her own practice in Friedlandville and Sullivan, Indiana, and also works for Green County Chiropractic in Worthington, and is the official chiropractor at C-Bar C Equine Arena in Cloverdale. In her primary office, she incorporates nutrition, detoxing, and functional labs to better serve her patients. She's been with Lifewave for just about 3 months now, is a director with Lifewave, and is excited to share information about this technology and how it helps her patients and how she's sharing this with other practitioners as well. So, Dr. Sara, first of all, thank you for being here this evening. I appreciate you taking your time out of your busy schedule with a mom of three, and practices in multiple places all over southern Indiana. So
Yeah.
thank you for that. Tell us a little bit more about your background. What inspired you to do the things that you're currently doing? Of course, we want to hear more about color puncture. I know that
Okay.
for sure. Want to hear more about that. And, take us then up to speed with what made you decide to try LifeWave's technology and what made you then decide to share that with others?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. This is an absolute joy and absolute honor. So yeah, I from a very young age has been very holistic minded ever since I was a little kid. My mom would find me out doing, different herbal remedies, things like that. I've always been very spiritual. I've always had a really strong connection with God ever since I can remember as a really young child. And just growing up, I love doing holistic medicine, learning about it, about quantum physics. Like if I could get my book on things when I was in junior high, elementary, I would start reading those things. And just biblically learning that when we're in the Bible, it says we're made in God's image. Like I took that, like literally, like, made in his image, how? And then when they talk about he is the light of the world, the light, and that you can't even look upon them. And so then learning more from that, from a biblical standpoint, and learning about quantum physics and the science,
Mhm.
and learning that our cells emit light. That was just like that's what he means. Like we're made in his image. We are literally beings of light in a earthly physical body. All the powers that Christ had on earth that they said that we could do was by that energy, by that energy form. And so that developed over obviously many years. I started as a massage therapist. I initially wanted to be a vet growing up. I went in to, I had a job offer as a CNA, became a CNA, job offer as a nurse, started nursing. I knew with the nursing field, just with me personally, I would get fired eventually. It would not go well. And so I learned about massage therapy because I loved working with my hands. I was told multiple times growing up to have healing in my hands because I like to just work on people and just pray for people, touch people. And so that kind of led me on my path to massage therapist, where I've been one for like 18 years now. And so forth, from a massage therapist, then to a collar puncturist. Actually, before I became a chiropractor, I learned, I think I found online somewhere. I don't even remember how I discovered it, but I learned that there was a course up in Chicago where you learn how light frequencies over acupuncture points stimulate meridians and points in the body to facilitate a physical, emotional, or mental change of some sort. And I just fell in love with it. I just knew that that's what I had to do. And so I was still working for a chiropractor at the time. I begged him to let me have time off to go down this adventure. And I made several trips as an 18, 19, or yeah, I think 19, 20-year-old to Chicago and to Colorado. I got my level 1 and level 2 license on collar puncture, where Peter Mandel, who is a excuse me, who is actually a naturopath from Germany, he incorporates all forms of medicine, all forms of religion, science, and brings it all into one. He developed collar puncture. And so it is using different frequencies of light on different acupuncture points, speaking to the body in its own language. Cells communicate to each other through light. That's the fastest means of communication. I won't get into all the sciencey physical part of that, but that's the gist of it. And so I have they called me the Good Witch at the old office where I used to work at, because I had a huge clientele with my massage patients. People loved me, I loved them. And so when I brought this back, they were like, whoa, Sarah, what is this? It's literally like a mag light, like a little wand mag light that would put a crystal glass tube at the end that has different amounts of color into it. There's colors of the rainbow. There's a gray spectrum for actually a DNA level. And then there was infrared and ultraviolet light. Sorry, I was getting over a cold, so if I start talking, I may cough a little bit. I got my glutathione on that's helping.
Yeah.
And so bringing that back, they're like, okay, I don't know what this is doing, but I trust you. And so, have a way. I can be your guinea pig. And so I started treating that just with simple things. And I realized very quickly, this is very powerful, like very powerful, physically, emotionally, more emotionally than anything, honestly. I was helping people physically, but people who had a lot of things pent up, or like depression, or just couldn't cry. They just nervous system shut down. They just couldn't cry anymore. I would do a simple detox protocol on them, which I could do on 10 different people and get 10 completely different outcomes. One could be a physical outcome, or a rash, or detoxing, or one person who's actually my best friend. I made her cry. She couldn't stop crying for like 4 days. She didn't talk to me for 2 weeks. She was so upset. But it's emotional. It stirred things, it unwound things emotionally that was hidden in those cells. Cells have memory that broke things free and allowed things to heal. So I know that light is very powerful in the frequencies. And so fast forward to where I am now as a chiropractor, I'm still on my journey to find the best way to heal my patients. This is my anointing, is to work on people. This is how I serve God, by allowing them to physically, emotionally, spiritually heal themselves and be like literally the best that they can be. And so when you see patient after patient and they're just, they're not living their full life, they're not living their full life. They're hurting all the time. They are fatigued all the time. I'm like, I know there's more than this. Chiropractic is amazing. It is amazing and it does wonderful things, but I know there is something more that I can help my patients with. And I've tried a lot of things with my patients. You can ask them. And so when I saw your video back in December, course, I had known you for a long time, and you had a dramatic change in your physique, in your health. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, girl, she had the work done. I was like, I know she didn't. And so I messaged you, right? And you sent me the link on detoxing and on these patches, which you had gotten a hold of me a few times a few years ago, and crazy life and kids, like, oh, I'll go back to that later, like we always do. But it was just divine timing. It was divine timing when I was ready for that. And so, yeah, I started watching your videos. I was literally in the back of a car driving home from Florida, and my mind was blown. My mind was blown. My heart exploded. And I was like, this is it. This is that missing piece, because I understand the chemistry. I understand the science of the light frequencies stimulating the copper peptides and the other different peptides in the cells, and how genes respond and, wake up and go dormant. And so I literally, for about 18 hours on the way home, I watched nothing but videos. You were, I felt like a stalker. I was going video after video after video, watching testimonials. And my poor sister-in-law in my car, I was like, oh my God, oh my God. She's just like, okay. And so I knew I had to have that in my practice. I knew I had to get this on as many patients as I possibly could that were at a plateau, that were really struggling. And so that's what I've been doing, kind of like spreading the word of God, spreading Jesus. I've just been spreading this of how just to give hope and healing to people, to get them reactivated again, get their bodies healing again, to achieve the life that they thought they were going to have at that age of their life. So that's kind of how I got to where I am and why I chose the patches. Of course, me and my husband and my family, we started them back in December. I ordered them on the way home, and I didn't start them until December. I wanted to give me and my family some time to use them, of course, before starting anyone else. But I had a few patients who I knew were like the toughest patients I could have possibly ever found, like the worst of the worst. I'm like, hey, I want you on these like immediately. But yeah, I've just been sharing it with everybody I can.
I love that. I love that. So let's reiterate then again. So color puncture is
Yes.
using wavelengths of light on acupuncture points to create change in the body.
Yes.
So we're going to talk now, because that it's just, you can't make this stuff up, right? How more divine is that?
And Peter Mandel, who was the father of color puncture, was one of David's mentors, I found out.
Yes, yes. I remember when you told me that when I was there in January. I was like, really?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So studying the father of color puncture, right? And how light is creating change on acupuncture points. And we know with our clinical studies, David chose specific acupuncture points to apply the patches, so the wavelengths of light directly interact with those points on the body, bridging Eastern medicine and Western medicine. So let's talk a little bit about how this patch works. We know our patch is non-transdermal. We know there's nothing in this that's entering the body. This is a patch that has what David invented inside of it, which is a crystal lattice structure that is reflective. This white part here has a solution of organic amino acids, oxygen, water, and sugars. Those form a lattice that's inside of the patch. They're molecules, okay, not stuff from your kitchen. And so when I put the patch on, my body's heat is what is interacting with this patch. A wavelength of light from the patch that we do not see or feel. So with your color puncture, right, or with a laser or maybe red light therapy, you see, right, that color coming off of that device. We don't actually see the wavelengths, entering the body, but we see that leaving the device. Well, with this, you're not going to see any light, okay? We immediately put it on our body. It's reflecting back a specific wavelength. That wavelength of light that enters our body is what Dr. Sara was talking about. When you use a patch, whether it's the X39 or Eon or, glutathione, like you showed that you have right here to help with your immune system, a different wavelength of light will enter the body and activate a different peptide in the body. And so in the term of GHKCU, right, our X39 elevates GHK, let's talk a little bit about what that patch does and what you've seen that patch do for your clients in your situation. And then we'll kind of talk a little bit about what the clinical studies are showing from the benefits of X39.
Yeah, so immediately when I started using them, I felt really sluggish. Like I was expecting, like, I don't know, magical things. Like sometimes you excited about the technology, you put it on and you're just like, okay. And I did for the first few days. I felt sluggish. I felt tired. I felt honestly just really cruddy. And so I reached out to you. I figured I wasn't getting enough water. I figured it was detoxing. I wasn't like, oh, this isn't working. Like I was like, oh, this isn't working. I feel awful. Like I'm educated enough myself to know, okay, what's wrong with me? What's preventing it from doing the things I know it can do? Mm-hmm. And so I did. I started, measuring my water. And I drink a lot of water, but I do not drink my own body weight. I struggle with that. And so I was like, okay, my body is screaming. They're getting dehydrated. And so I knew I had to chug a little bit more water. I use electrolytes, of course. I use Celtic sea salt also. Mm-hmm. And so I started chugging more water. I knew that I am very, very physically active. And so by recalling my body to get on board to be even more active than it is. So I realized, okay, my body is not resting enough. I'm not getting enough water. I'm probably not getting enough protein. And so I had to look at those things of like, what am I not doing to allow it to do its best job? And so once I started incorporating those things to fulfill those needs, then that sluggishness completely went away. Like it went away, it was fine. And so I found myself, sleeping better. And, it being 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night, and I don't have that lull, that like, I'm just so tired. You get cranky and a little bit irritable with your family, with your kids, you just want to go to bed. Like I still feel fine. Like the same type of energy that I would have in the morning, I would still have at 8 or 9 o'clock at night. Mm-hmm. And not a jittery energy, but I just feel good. And so still productive. And so those are some things I noticed the best. I did not get sick at all once during COVID, like at all, not a single thing. But this past January, I got a cough that stuck in my throat that has literally tried to kill me. Literally, I have not slept for 3 weeks. I'll be up for 2 to 3 hours at night, just trying to get some air in. And so I started putting the glutathione on my chest that Dr. Staci recommended I do. And that first night that I wore them, I only woke up for 1 hour. And I was like, that's pretty awesome. The second night, I woke up a couple times, had a cough a little bit, but went right back to sleep. And then last night I wore them, I slept all night, not coughing a single once through the night. And I was like, okay, this is amazing. So me personally, I bounce between the X39 and the Eon for inflammation because I am so physically active. I have been wearing the glutathione on my chest. And normally I wear it at nighttime. And I wear the energy enhancer, especially since the last few weeks. I've not been sleeping good. I've been wearing the energy enhancer. And I wear them below the knees. This because of my job. Like I'm constantly moving. I don't like them up here on me. So below the knees works great for me. Like clean energy to treat all my patients and take care of my family in the evening. My husband, he also wears those as well. A lot of my patients, they start on the X39 and the Eon. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about what happened for your husband with his genes.
Do what?
With his genes. Not his genes, but his genes.
Yes. So, my husband has been trying to lose weight, really the past 10 years, if we're quite honest. Not a lot, but, just that midsection that, you just can't ever lose from college. He's a big farm boy, but he's got a little bit right there in the middle. And so, we've done CrossFit, we've done cold plunges, we eat clean, we do carnivore, we've done all the things, which has helped a lot. But nothing really has ever given him a good edge yet. And so, we ordered the protocol patch, the belly protocol. And so it hasn't come in yet. I think it actually just came in the mail today. It was sitting by my car, which I wasn't quite happy with because I'm glad the dogs didn't get a hold of it. But anyway, and so my husband has a pair of jeans when we were dating that were my absolutely favorite pair of jeans. And of course, after we got married and moved to college, no longer fit in those, but I wouldn't let him get rid of them. I think they're a size 36. And he's like, oh, yeah. He's like, I'm never fitting back into these. It's just not happening. I'm going to get rid of them. Like, you're not getting rid of those. You are getting back in those jeans. Like, you're getting back in those jeans. And so was cleaning out the closet the other day. He did his 72-hour fast the other day, did a 72-hour fast with water, electrolytes, and bone broth, and using the X39, sorry, and
Okay.
using the energy patches. And he, for some reason, went in, found those jeans in the back of the closet, and he walked out with those jeans. I recognize them because there's ink stain on the front of them. But he walked out and they fit,
Yeah.
buckled up, fit. Probably not doing squats in them, but they fit. And I was like, and it was just really good motivation for him because he was like, that's never happening. I'm never going to get that body back. And it really gave him hope. Like, I can do this. Like, I can get that body back that I had when I was, before
Mm-hmm.
married life, if you want to say.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, it was fantastic. And so he's already lost some weight. He's on this last belt buckle of his belt, like the last one. He can't go any smaller. And so that's a huge win. And
Mm-hmm.
so, yeah, we're going to track now that he starts the protocol patch this week, how it even transforms.
Right, so 3 months he's been using X39 Eon and energy enhancement.
Really, just 2 months.
2 months, 2 months.
Yeah, he was in January.
Okay, so it's just since January. So he's dropped some belt buckles, got on some
Yep.
jeans from college. That's pretty impressive. Reducing
Yep.
that inflammation really does that for you. You know, when you can help the inflammation in the cells, it makes a big difference. So when we're talking about our X39, right, the main patch that elevates the GHK that activates all of our incredible cells in our body that are responsible for repairing regeneration, right? I would love for you to share your analogy with the X39 that you were sharing with me. I think that would be great for everyone to kind of really understand the power of what this patch is doing on the inside.
Right. So yeah, these analogies honestly literally always just come to me. They're super random. I guess I grew up on a farm, fishing, whichever. So the best analogy that I have is think of your body on the inside like a green lake. Water's not moving in, water's not moving out. You're not detoxing. Most people have never even done a body detox. So think about the inside, your cellular level, and just green lake. And you have these boats, just canoes, whichever, just floating all over. Those are your stem cells. You have these stem cells. They've always been there. They're there. They're just kind of dormant. They're just kind of floating, not really working. So X39, think of those like as engines, as motors that you're putting on the boats.
Mm.
It's getting them activated, getting them turned on, getting them moving again, doing what they're designed to do. And so they can go as fast as your body allows them to go. They are amazing, but they can only do what your body allows. And so if the water is really thick, murky, and mossy, they can't go very fast. So think about the Eon. The Eon is great for inflammation. So it's like a clearing out all that inflammation. It's clearing out all that green out of the water, cleaning it perfectly clear. So those boats can just fly right over the water, cleans up your system. And so both of them work independently of their own. But when you have a situation like that, that's how they work best together.
I love that. I always talk about changing your oil in your car, but when you said that, I'm like, perfect. A green, sludgy, mossy pond
I
inside of
got
my
a fish tank
body.
here in the office for the kids, so that was probably my my inspiration.
Those boats aren't moving because you're so toxic on the inside. And so,
Exactly.
yeah, getting the inflammation out so the body can start moving, so those cells can start doing what they need to do on the inside, improving that cell to cell communication. We know with people, they typically experience, like you said, some energy. That's what you were hoping for. You had what some people experience, which is a little bit of a sluggishness, a little bit of a detox reaction because of the dehydration. And so when
Mhm.
you upped your water, then you got to see the energy and things like that. And now, I mean, I feel the same way. Obviously, I'm 4 years into patching, but I get up in the morning and I go, and here I am still going. We're looking at 15 hours later now from when I woke up, and it's like no big deal. It's still part
Yeah.
of the day. I've still got a lot more day left in my day, you know?
Yep.
And that's just the way it is because our bodies are working correctly, but it doesn't happen overnight. What we see from our studies is usually around 3 to 6 weeks is when people start to notice more energy or more,
Mhm.
brain clarity, focus. They notice a better quality of sleep, maybe some more physical energy or wound healing, right? If they have an accident or injury or something. But we don't really notice much significance in the beginning because you're just elevating the peptide and GHK, and so yes, it does reset over 4,000 of your genes back to their perfect state, but we don't really start to see some significant benefits in our clinical studies until around 6 weeks. So it's important if you're, a guest tonight listening that you understand, or if you're new to Lifewave, you don't expect to, the walls to fall down and, the sun, and the sea to part and all this stuff to happen in your first couple days or weeks or even months, maybe. There's a compound effect to this technology. And when we understand peptides, and we understand the way body works, it takes time to get into balance. And so we really start to see changes like with our cardiovascular system around 6 to 8 weeks. We start to see those changes in the neurological system. Digestion starts to change. Obviously, you can see some changes in body composition, right, as time goes on. But it's no different than being in the gym or, the type of food we're in our 40-day challenge right now, a lot of us. And, going to the gym 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times, you're not going to notice anything, right? You're not going to look in the mirror and be like, oh, yeah, this is big change.
Yeah.
Those changes happen after months, right? You can eat that salad or you can eat that carnivore, you can eat that steak for weeks and not notice a difference. But, a couple months in, 90 days in, you're like, okay, I think this is making a difference. And the patches are the same way. Would you agree with that? Obviously, you're into all things nutrition and with lifestyle with your patients. Do you find that as well too?
Yeah, absolutely. And I tell people, like, if they understand how the body physically works on a molecular level, it can't happen overnight. There's certain things that can't happen overnight, but the restoring of tissues, of joints, of skin, there's a process the body has to do to make that happen. Doesn't mean that it's not happening, it's just not noticeable yet. Just like in the movie The Secret, they talk about, that seed, coming up through the ground, coming up through the ground, and it's almost there, but then you're like, this isn't working, so you quit and it stops. Sometimes, it's going, it's going, it's going, it's going. It's not reached your surface yet, but it's still moving, it's still flourishing underneath the surface. So you just got to give it time, let that compound to really, break through the surface to where you can notice a difference of it. Something else too that I noticed, I got the Alavita kit for Christmas. That was my gift for myself, and I've been using it. I use the eye cream that has the copper peptides in it, for my eyes. I use it on my stomach because I have a little bitty stretch marks from my beautiful 3 girls. And in just 2 months' time, my stretch marks are almost completely gone.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's the first time. Look at Laura. She's like, yeah,
Yeah.
still go. That's the first time I've heard that. I've never heard anybody using the eye cream on their stretch marks and they're almost gone.
Yeah.
Woo. Wow.
Yeah.
That's going to hit home for a lot of people. Look, we've got women clapping.
Yeah, so what I learned, I didn't even know the eye cream had it in there until I watched the video later on, and I was like, okay, yeah. And so I started using it on my stomach before bed and in the mornings.
Wow, that is really good to know. Noted right now. Wow. Well, thank you for that. That's a great little extra tip there. I use that eye cream. I know Laura puts it all over her whole entire face.
Yeah.
I'm a huge night cream junkie. So night cream is obviously nighttime on the face. Night cream goes over my décolleté during the day, down my shoulders, around and underneath, and all the way down to my hands. And the backs of my hands get night cream for hand cream all day long. Because this part right here, women look old, right? And I'm like, no, we cannot have that. And they look old on this part. So I'm like, no, 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 night cream, night cream, night cream. But I haven't done eye cream, but I don't have any wrinkles either on those spots. But I'm gonna have to work on a couple stretch marks here on my side,
There
from
we go.
I'll have to
Your
see.
hands look beautiful, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you very much. That's the 4 years of night cream. 4 years of
Yeah,
night
I'm gonna start
cream.
adding them to my hands too then.
Yeah, I'm like, okay. But I mean, a little bit goes a long way with that stuff.
It really does. I'll put one little pump and I will like dap my eyes with it, and then I'll do the rest under my chin, and then I'll do one more little pump for my whole little tummy area. And so like 2 little pumps, that's all I need.
I love it. I love
Yeah.
it. Wow. Well, thank you so much for being here this evening, Dr. Sarah. I know that everyone here has absolutely loved this section. I'm getting lots of throughout the comments how much they love you sharing your personal experience, your background, and how you're using the patches in your practice. I know when I was there in January, we had about 45 people, your patients that came for the presentation, and I know you have so many more than that that are using the technology and loving the technology. And so I look forward to having you back on again in the future. You can
Absolutely.
share more information about how this is helping your patients in your practice. So thank you so much for your time this evening.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you, everyone.
Absolutely. Have a great evening, everyone.